have you ever actually tried to explain what a job is to a little kid, or what money really is? I mean, to us, these things are second nature, but for them, they're just these huge abstract ideas. So today, we're going to deconstruct the playbook educators use to teach these really complex concepts. Let's pull back the curtain and see how it's done.
All right, so here's our game plan. We're going to follow the exact same path a kid would. First up, we'll look at the biggest challenge, just trying to make sense of the adult world. Then, we'll lay down the foundational blocks of work and money. After that, we'll see how those two ideas build a community, and we'll uncover the secret ingredient that really makes these lessons stick. And finally, we'll wrap up with what this whole blueprint means for the future.
So what's the first big hurdle? Well, it's taking these ideas we totally take for granted, like having a job or the value of something, and making them real and concrete. For a child, these aren't just new words. It's like learning a whole new language from scratch. And that's the core of the challenge right there.
Seriously, just think about it for a second. How would you do it? You can't start talking about economic theory or exchange rates, no way. You have to start somewhere way, way simpler. It's this puzzle that, honestly, educators have been trying to solve for decades. And the answer they landed on is this really smart strategy called sequential instruction. The whole idea is actually pretty simple when you hear it. You build knowledge one small, logical piece at a time. I mean, it makes sense, right? You don't build the roof of a house before you've laid the foundation.
And in this educational playbook, that first foundational block, it's not money, it's work. Before a kid can even begin to understand what a dollar is for, they've got to understand where it comes from. You have to answer that big question first. What does it even mean to go to work?
The curriculum breaks it down into this really simple but kind of powerful definition. Work isn't just about making money. It's about doing tasks and contributing. That little reframe is everything. It connects the idea of a job to helping people, to creating things, and to being a part of something bigger than yourself. And here's how they make that definition real for a kid. They don't just leave it as an idea. They connect it to things they've already seen. By saying that a baker making bread is work, and a teacher teaching is work, and hey, you helping with chores at home, that's work too. Suddenly work isn't some strange adult thing. It's something they can actually do. Okay, so once that foundation of work is firmly in place, then, and only then, do you bring in the next logical block, money. The lesson plans we're looking at introduce this as the very next step in building out a kid's picture of the world. Now, for young kids, financial literacy isn't about investing or mortgages. It's way simpler. It's about three core things. 1, just being able to identify coins and bills. 2, starting to get a sense of what they're worth. And 3, this is a big one, learning the huge difference between needs and wants. And this needs versus wants distinction, it's an absolute cornerstone. Teaching a child that, food is a need, but that new toy is a want, that's one of the very first lessons in understanding value and how to make choices. It's actually a pretty profound concept for a 5-year-old to start wrapping their head around.
From there, you start to layer the practical skills on top. This is where the rubber meets the road, Being able to tell a quarter from a dime, maybe adding them up. And, so important, introducing the almost magical idea that you don't have to spend your money right away. You can actually save it for later.
So now we have work and we have money. The next move in the playbook is to zoom out. The goal is to show that these aren't just things you do by yourself, but that they're parts of a much bigger puzzle, a puzzle we call community. I just love this quote, by the way. It's taken straight from a script for a kid's video. It uses a metaphor they get instantly, a team. It frames the community not as a bunch of random people doing random jobs, but as a group, all working together toward the same goal. It's brilliant. And this is how they illustrate that team idea perfectly. It shows how everything is connected. You need the firefighters to keep you safe, the doctors to keep you healthy, the teachers to help you learn. Every job has a purpose, and that purpose is to help someone else on the team. Okay, but you can explain all these definitions and show all these diagrams, but how do you make it, stick? Well, there's one tool, one technique that educational designers rely on more than anything else to make sure these concepts are truly memorable. It's storytelling. That's it. It's the secret sauce. Because facts and figures, they're so easy to forget. But a good story? A story connects with us emotionally, and it creates a memory that lasts. This is true for all of us, but it's especially true for kids. So let's look at a perfect example from the source material. Instead of just saying, librarians help people find books, which is kind of boring, the curriculum tells a story.
Right away, we're introduced to characters. Mr. Lee, our friendly librarian, and Lily, a little girl who has a problem.
And every good story needs a problem, right? Lily's is simple, but it's so relatable for a kid. She's got this big school project, it's on dinosaurs, and she just can't find the right book. It's that moment of frustration that every single kid, and adult for that matter, understands.
And then, in comes our hero, Mr. Lee. He uses his special skill, his amazing knowledge, and he solves Lily's problem. He finds the perfect dinosaur book. Now notice what's happening. The story doesn't just tell a kid what a librarian does. It shows their value in this really tangible, almost heroic way. And the story ends with the most important part, the feeling. Lily is grateful. This is the absolute key. By connecting a job to a positive emotion like gratitude, the lesson moves from your head to your heart. And that emotional anchor is what makes it unforgettable.
So when we pull all these pieces together, you can see this isn't random at all. It's a very clear, very deliberate strategy for building a child's understanding of the entire world, one brick at a time. So let's just quickly recap that core playbook.
So, the whole playbook boils down to this really powerful formula. You start with a logical sequence, building from simple to complex. You make it real by using examples from their everyday lives. And you make it stick by wrapping it all in an engaging story that connects to their emotions. It's a blueprint for turning the abstract into something they'll never forget.
What's really cool is that this playbook is so effective, you could really use it to teach almost anything. And that leaves us with one last, really interesting question to think about. Now that we know how to build understanding so effectively, what's the most important first block we should be giving our kids to prepare them for the future?